to the Mexican that was with you with all these papers.
Good morning, Kahal Kadosh, Shavua Tov Mevorach. Today is Sunday, the 15th day of Tevet, 5783, corresponding to the 8th of January, 2023. Today's class graciously sponsored by the Crane family, La'ilui Nishmat, the beloved husband and father, Mr. Sol Crane, Alav Shalom, Shaul Ben Bayir, that this week is the day of his Askara, Iratzon, to the words of Torah, his Neshama, have an Aliyah in Gan Eden. Amen. Baruch Ata Adonai, Eloheinu Melech HaOlam, She'akol Nihiyah B'Baruch. Amen. We hope that everyone had a beautiful Shabbat Vayehi. But as we mentioned yesterday, Parashat Vayehi concludes Sefer Bereshit, and immediately we move on to Sefer Shemot, which is definitely the history of Am Israel becoming a nation under the leadership of Moshe Rabbeinu, Aharon HaKohen, etc. And automatically, the moment that we say Parashat Shemot and Sefer Shemot, we welcome a period in the Jewish calendar known as the Shobabim, which I will discuss this topic, time allowing, in a few minutes. But before we do that, let's go quickly to the Gemara of today. Usually Gemara on Sunday is a very beautiful Gemara that is a very practical because it comes from Masechet Berachot. And the Gemara begins, Amar Rabbi Abin bar Ada, Amar Rabbi Ishaq, Kol Aragil Lavo Lebet HaKnesset. The Gemara brings a very famous statement. A person that usually comes to the synagogue every day, like many of us do, Baruch Hashem, Beloba Yom Echad, and one day the person didn't show up. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mash'il Bo. Borei Olam asked, where is this person? For us, in our days, there is not a problem. Say, I know he's praying in the 8:20 minyan. He's praying in the 8 o'clock minyan, 6:45 minyan. But back then in the day, they didn't have the flexibility and the variation of all minyanim like we have. Used to be one minyan only, and probably was net minyan, most likely, which is the ideal time to pray. Back then was basically the only minyan to have. So therefore the Gemara says, Shene'emar, the Gemara brings a pasuk from Yeshaya HaNavi. Now what difference does it make that HaKadosh Baruch Hu asks about the whereabouts of a certain person? If there is a minyan already, what difference does it make if the minyan is with me or without me? As long as you have a minyan, the minyan moves on. So the Gemara brings a pasuk from Yeshaya HaNavi, and it says, Mi bachem yerei Hashem, who is among you the God-fearing fellow, shomeya bekol abdo, the one that listened to the voice of his servant, asher halach hashechim, who went to darkness, be'en nogah lo, and there is no protection for him. This is a very heavy-duty pasuk. First, we talk about listening to the words of God, having irat shamayim, walking in the darkness, and not having protection. Now, what is this pasuk? So it says as follows. The Mefarshim explains that HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, why this person, who I usually see him in the synagogue, today is not here? Now, and he says here that the Lishmoa Bekol Abdo, Hashem listens to the voice of his servant. You know who is this servant? The Hazan. The Hazan, which this is something brought down in many places, and I saw it recently in the Pelei Yoez discussing that the Hazan is the Kohen Gadol representing the Jewish people in the Bet HaMikdash.
Right.
Okay. And that's why we say yes, but sometimes, all kinds of Hazanim go up. You understand? The hidden message of the Gemara here says when you're going to send someone to be a Hazan, has to be a holy person. What's the meaning holy person? A good person. Ahub ala beriot, someone that is beloved by people, someone that knows how to interact with people, preferably married with children, at least for the high holidays. We're not talking about only the regular weekday Hazanim. Okay, the regular weekday Hazanim. We're talking about especially when it comes Shabbat, Yom Tov, high holidays. The Hazan needs to be someone very special. So it says, what happened to this individual who didn't come and listen to the prayer of the Hazan like the Kohen Gadol? Maybe he went to a place of darkness. Now, what does it mean he went to a place of darkness? So you know what it says here? That he really failed to come for no reason. If you're traveling, or you're not feeling well, or during COVID times, or a person has medical limited mobilities, etc. Yani you have different reasons why the person did not come to the minyan. Is one thing. But if a person really has no reason why not to come to the minyan, God says, why didn't come to the minyan? If the person, the reason why he did not come to pray with the minyan, it was justified. There was a reason why he didn't come. Maybe his wife gave birth. Or maybe he needed to take the kids to the yeshiva. Or maybe he spent the night in the hospital fulfilling the mitzvah of kaved avicha vetimecha, to take care of a parent. So the Gemara says, no galo, the mitzvah, the zechut that he was occupied for a mitzvah, that mitzvah becomes the flashlight in the moment of darkness. Bimalach lidevar harashut. But if a person just was lazy, you know what, today I'm not coming to shul. Why not? There's no special breakfast. God forbid to think that way. God forbid to think that way. If you want, let me know, I'll take care of this. That's why it says the pasuk, Iftach b'Shem Hashem. What is the conclusion of this pasuk? Have trust in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It says, the person, even if a person has the needs, let's say that a customer tells you, listen, I'm in town, I can only see you 7 o'clock in the morning. Okay?
Business?
Business. It's a very big nisayon. It's a big challenge. So the Gemara says, Iftah b'Shem Hashem. You tell that fellow, I would love to meet you, but guess what? I don't meet business until I pray. I can meet you after prayers. How many stories we have heard in the past of people who put God first before anything else? Shiviti Hashem nenegdi tamid. A person places God. You know, even when sometimes I have appointments or I have invitations for a bar mitzvah, for a berit milah, you know what I tell them? I can only show up there after 10 o'clock. My class is my priority of the day. My class is the priority of the day. After I finish the class, I can go. Sometimes people wait. Sometimes I tell them, don't wait. Don't wait. If I have 2 classes, like tomorrow and Tuesday, back to back, men and ladies, till 12, I'm not available. That's it. Now, you say, but Rabbi, so you don't go anywhere. Okay, big deal. Eliyahu Navi will do the milah without me present. Obviously, if it's my grandson, that's a whole different shiur, shalom bayit, kicks in, and you gotta be there. But on a regular basis, I'll definitely will put the priority that needs to be put. Even sometimes with medical appointments, etc., I said I can only do it after 10:45. Enough time to leave the class
to go
and get there on time. That's it. Obviously, there's sometimes says, sir, can only see you, the specialist, 8 o'clock. It happens, not often, but it does happen. But therefore, the Gemara writes, Iftach b'Shem Hashem. So far, so good. So I think that the first paragraph of the Gemara is that don't think that your absence in the synagogue, in the minyan, is not noticed.
Of course.
It is noticed. You know, somebody told me the other day, Rabbi, I didn't see you. I said, which minyan do you pray? 6:45. I said, no, I don't pray 6:45. Either I come to the nets, or I come to the, because if I come to the nets, to the 6:45, I can make it to the nets. And every time I go to the 6:45, they welcome me with welcome home, welcome back, welcome home, heke. Okay, but sometimes the next time doesn't allow me to be in two places at the same time, even though there's 100 feet between one room and the other. But Baruch Hashem, since HaKadosh Baruch Hu blessed us to be part of a kehillah that has a lot of minyanim, so it's easy to find a minyan. So far, so good. Let's go to message number 2. Let's say that tefillah is announced. Let's say this minyan, 8:20 Kaddeshli. Baruch Hashem, in the history of our synagogue, usually every minyan has a minyan when they're supposed to start, which is a great beracha according to the Gemara of today. The Gemara says when the minyan is announced, they announce the time of the minyan, and the time comes and there is no minyan, God forbid, which, by the way, it may happen in places that they don't have the beracha of people that we have. You think that every synagogue in South Florida has what we have? Most likely not. And I don't want to brag about it,
Not for 5 billion.
but this is the reality. There are places that they start slowly, 7, 8, and then start making phone calls.
Uh-oh.
We need you to come to the minyan.
Yeah.
On the night before, they call the people. We need you. Somebody has your side. Somebody needs to say Kaddish. Some synagogues guarantee a minyan Monday and Thursday. And Shabbat. If you need Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, you got to reserve the minyan. They need to activate the people to come to the synagogue to pray. And God forbid, we're not judging. Each community and each city has its own peculiar challenges. So the Gemara writes, the moment that the minyan was announced and there is no minyan, how do you feel that HaKadosh Baruch Hu feels? Indirectly, Hashem is not happy. And the Gemara brings a pasuk from Yeshaya, Madua bati be'en ish, karati ve'en oneh. Madua bati, I came, and no one is waiting for me. That means the minyan. The Zohar elsewhere talks about the zechut of the person to be the first one to arrive to the minyan, and the merit of those that are between number 1 and number 10, and the merit of number 10 that he closes the circle of the minyan. Obviously, just to give everybody a peace of mind, everyone that makes part of a minyan, there is a different level of beracha that comes to the person. Number 1 and number 10, super special. Number 2 to number 9, super special. Number 11 onwards, super special, bronze level. You have platinum, gold, silver, bronze.
And super.
Okay, let's continue. The Gemara writes, and it says, Amar, one more. Amar Rabbi Halabo, Amar Abuna. That's definitely an area that I need to work on, to be the number 1 or to be from the first. Sometimes I come early. I said to myself, wow, you came here at 6:10 in the morning, Hazaku Baruch. Yani I'm patting myself. I come, I see already 40, 50 people in shul. I said, well, you guys slept here last night? No, we got here like 5:15 to prepare ourselves. Says, I wish I'd be in that level. But anyways, just make it to the minyan. But as I said to somebody, try to always come a few moments before the minyan starts. So this way the person can be mentally prepared. I tell you from personal experience, it's not the same thing if you're coming to the minyan 1 minute before the minyan starts, or you come 5 to 10 minutes that you dress, you say your korbanot, you prepare yourself, you sit in your place, which is the next message of the Gemara. The Gemara talks about shul hopping. Have you heard of this expression? Shul hopping means you pray every day in a different place. And we're not saying that you are traveling. Obviously, if you are traveling, you live in Deal, right? Or in Brooklyn. Deal. Okay, so we know where you pray. Okay, but imagine yourself, a person lives in Deal, one day goes to Deal Synagogue, another day goes to Lore, and you don't go to different shuls because you have a bar mitzvah, or a berit milah, or a farah, etc. That's a different ballgame. But this is how you are. One day you pray here, one day you pray there. The Gemara says it's not good. It's not good. The Gemara writes, listen to the language. Kol hakobea makom litfilato. A person that places the person that prays on the same place. And according to the Gemara, it's referring in the same minyan. But one day you sit here, one day you sit there, one day you pray the Amidah there, one day you pray the Amidah there. Forget about switching shuls. On the same room, the Gemara says, the person that fixes a place where to pray constantly in the same vicinity, from the halacha perspective,
6 amot, no?
4 amot. As long as you are 6 feet around your sitting area, you are considered in your same place. I tell you, myself, I feel the difference. I have my spot where I pray. You know that. But if somebody, let's say, unintentionally, obviously, he loved that place. Somebody says, Rabbi, I love that spot. I says, okay, Hazaku Baruch. And then he came to apologize. I didn't know it's your spot. Okay, I also love my spot. You know why I love my spot? Because we have a long time relationship. That's what the Gemara says. When you pray in the same space, in the same area, you and the area have a bonding level that it cannot be described verbally. But I tell you one thing, that if I pray in my usual place of prayer, or somebody unintentionally, accidentally didn't notice that I'm there, and the person just went to pray in my spot, and I prayed elsewhere, it's not the same level of prayer. I feel something is missing. That's my own personal feeling.
Everybody.
Maybe some of you are Saddiqim, and they have a bonding relationship any place where you pray. But according to the Gemara, it says, Elokei Abraham be'ezro. It says, Abraham Avinu comes to your rescue. What does that mean, Abraham Avinu comes to my rescue? The footnote of the Gemara says that Abraham Avinu kobea makom litfilato. Abraham Avinu had a special spot where he prayed. During COVID, that all of us were homebound. Remember, and we used to have the COVID minyanim via Zoom. Okay? I found an ideal spot where to pray. At home. I found a special corner that may not be with all the sofas and everything else, but just a corner that for me proven to be comfortable and enjoyable to pray. Where do we get this from? Abraham Avinu. Now, ukeshemet, what happens after this person leaves the world? In Shamayim, they say a eulogy of this person. A person passes away, right? But in Shamayim, they make a special eulogy to benefit the neshama of the person. What they say, let us welcome the student of Abraham Avinu. So I ask you a question. What does it mean, the student of Abraham Avinu? The Gemara says very simple. The moment that you mimic the behavior of Abraham Avinu to find a settled place to pray on a regular basis, now suddenly you became a student of Abraham Avinu. Unbelievable zechut. And they say what a pious person was, or what a humble person he was, etc. Now, as the Gemara, Abraham Avinu menalan de kaba' makom. How do you know that Abraham Avinu had a fixed place to pray? Where do we see that from? So the Gemara answers, Vayashkem Avraham baboker el hamakom asher amad sham. Avraham Avinu got up earlier that day in the area that he stood. Be'en amida ela tefilah. The amida means praying to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And therefore the Gemara writes, train yourself to always pray in the same spot or in the vicinity. By the way, it is common that many times visitors come to the synagogue and they ask me, Rabbi, where can I sit so I don't take anyone's seat? Beautiful, beautiful derech that people ask, okay, it's a beautiful place. I usually tell them, okay, you can sit this area, that area. And again, if a person sporadically needs to go, let's say that you want to pray with a minyan, and the last minyan here is at 8:20 in the morning. Tomorrow we're going to have an extra one at 9 o'clock, but with the break we're going to have at 9 o'clock because to accommodate the youth and the many visitors that come, etc. But let's say you want a 9:30 minyan. You can't pray at 9, it's impossible, whatever, you're landing late. Not a problem. But the Gemara seems to imply when a person prays in the same synagogue, your mind settles, your place brings that connection with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. The Gemara discusses how to leave the synagogue. How to leave the synagogue. The Gemara says, Amar Rab Halbo, Amar Abuna, Hayosem Bet HaKnesset, when you leave the synagogue, Al Yafsiya Pesi'a Gasa. Don't run away from the synagogue. Slow. Many people have the beautiful costume of turning their back towards the door. So when they walk out of the synagogue, it's like they say goodbye to Hashem. But it says, don't take big steps when you leave the synagogue. Take small steps. Don't give the insinuation that you want to run away from the synagogue. Amar Abaye says, when are we saying not to run, to leave? Aval leme'al, misva lemirhad. But to come to the synagogue, run. What do we learn from? Nede'a nirdefa lada'at et Hashem. I'm going to run to meet the Creator. It's a pasuk that comes from Hosea ben Be'eri, one of the Terei Asar. So we learned a lot of beautiful messages today. Number one, don't think that your absence in the minyan is not noticed. HaKadosh Baruch Hu looks for each and every one of us daily. Number one. Number two, we mentioned try to start all your personal or business matters after tefillah. Try to be from the early ones that comes to the minyan. Try to find a suitable place where to pray, and specifically a suitable place where to do the Amidah. Okay? Fix a place for the Amidah. And we learning that from Abraham Avinu. Don't run away from the synagogue, but come running to the synagogue. The Gemara concludes and it says, Amar Rab Zera. Rab Zera says, Ki amuhazina lehu Rabbanan. When I used to see the Hachamim running on Shabbat to go to yeshiva, for what purpose they were running? To listen to the rabbi's class. That's why they were running. They weren't running the circle to do exercise. Amina, I will have said, Kamehalian Rabbanan Shabbata. Hachamim are desecrating the Shabbat. Why? The Gemara writes in Masechet Shabbat that the way you walk on the Shabbat should not be the same way that you walk in the weekday. Kevan sheshaman aleha. But once I learned the statement of Rav Tanhum that says, in the name of Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi, that a person should run on Shabbat to listen to the words of Torah, Ana name rahidna. I also started to run, not to get late to the rabbi's class and to get a good seat in the rabbi's class. I will come to the synagogue on Shabbat Kodesh running. You have to understand, the setup for the rabbi's class in the time of the Talmud is not as comfortable as it is today. You see it in such a comfortable 21-inch chair, air conditioning, you listen, sometimes you take a nap, sometimes you laugh, sometimes you listen, sometimes you pay attention. But in the olden days, how do you think people sat in the rabbi's class? On the ground, on the floor. So comes the Gemara, and it says, Amar Rabbi Zera. Rabbi Zera discusses about the coming to the rabbi's class. You get sechar. Like we get sechar, you get rewarded by Hashem coming to the synagogue to pray with the minyan and answering Amen, answering Baruch Hu Baruch Shemo, answering Nagdishach. Every step of the prayer carries bonuses to the person's life. Coming to the rabbi's class, also you get points, also you get rewards. But the question is, you get reward on what? For running? For sitting? For listening? For applying what you learn in life? Maybe you came to the class and you fall asleep. Like the story the other day. Somebody tells the rabbi, Rabbi, because of your speech, I couldn't sleep last night. So what the rabbi thinks, oh, the speech must have been very good. He says, no, I fall asleep in your class and I couldn't sleep at night.
That's good also.
Right. Now, Baruch Hashem, people are very respectful. I must say something to the credit of the Kahal, that Baruch Hashem, most people don't fall asleep in the class. So now the Gemara is going to explain the different layers of points, of earning points. So listen to the Gemara. Amar Rav Zera, Agra de Pirka Rihata. It says, the fact that you came running to the synagogue to listen to the class, that's already great. Why? Because some people don't really understand what the rabbi is saying. Maybe the rabbi is speaking in a different language.
Yiddish.
Not Yiddish. We have a lot of Spanish visitors, and they don't. You know, I don't think I gave a speech on Yiddish here in the Safra synagogue as a full length. Okay, as a full length speech. I was invited, by the way, to give one lecture up north in Yiddish.
Really?
Yeah, I did not accept the invitation because it was Chol HaMoed Pesach. So I can't leave Chol HaMoed Pesach from the synagogue. He said, Rabbi, can you come to give a class? We heard your shiurim. We know that you speak Yiddish. Can you come and give a class in Yiddish in Monroe? True story, by the way. Because they have shiurim in Chol HaMoed. Hasidim don't work at all. So what they do, every year they bring different guest speakers.
Yeah.
And when you say Sephardic rabbi that speak Yiddish, it's a novel idea. It's like Moshe Rabbeinu is coming down. I'm Avdil, right? So for them to have a Sephardic rabbi who is not Hasidic like they are and speaks Yiddish, you know, it's a novel idea.
No.
So somebody called me, says, Rabbi, I gave it last year. Can you come this year? I said, I would love to, but not in Pesach. It's impossible. Let's continue. Amar Abaye, Igra de Kala Dohaka. It says there were two levels of speeches in the Hachamim times. Today is all one, but there were two levels of speeches: the regular Shabbat afternoon class, or the shiur Shabbat afternoon before the holidays. Is one of the takanot that Moshe Rabbeinu gave, was to teach the halachot of the holidays before the holidays and during the holidays. So when it came to the holidays, Shabbat HaGadol, for example, and Shabbat Shuvah, exactly, those are two Shabbatot where all the classes of the Shabbat afternoon programs, they all join in the main sanctuary. And the drasha is much longer. Shabbat HaGadol is an hour and a half, Shabbat Shuvah is an hour and a half, etc. Now this Shabbat, Be'ezat Hashem, Hacham David Yosef will be with us. We're going to advance the class to start earlier, and we're going to merge all the classes together to give kavod to the Torah. So it says, Avaye, igra de kala, the fact that the people come to the synagogue before the holiday to learn the halachot of the holiday. Guess what? You don't have the same comfortable level that you have on a regular Shabbat, that there are 10 classes going on in 10 different rooms. Now everybody's coming to the same room. And now the pushing and the tightened, like a kind of sardines filling, that's basically what Rabbi is saying. On that moment, it's a great concept. Amar Rabba, agrade shamatata sebara. It says no. It says coming to the class is beautiful. Running to the class is unbelievable. Sitting in the class is great. Sitting shoulder to shoulder before the holidays is a great zechut. But the bottom line of the class is the understanding of the message of the Hachamim, of the Torah, or the message of the Halakha being given in this particular time of the year, whatever case it may be. I'm happy with all answers. There is a Sechar Pesiyah. There is the reward for coming. Every step is a mitzvah. Sechar Yeshiva, the Sechar of sitting down in the class, and Sechar Limud, and the reward for learning Torah. I'll finish with the following. I will leave the Shovavim topic for tomorrow. You know, there is a very interesting Kaf HaHaim that discusses attending the class of the Hachamim. And it says that a zechut that comes to a person, comes to a Torah class, besides today's Gemara, that Hashem compensates the person for coming, sitting, and learning, there is one more benefit, says the Kaf HaHaim. And it says the following. This is brought down in the halachot of Pesach, I believe halachot of Pesach. Now, imagine yourself, you're going to come to the rabbi's class, Shabbat HaGadol, the Shabbat before Pesach. Most likely, every year, the halacha doesn't change. Could be if Pesach is on a Shabbat, or Pesach is on a Mosai Shabbat, there is an additional set of rules to learn. But in a regular Pesach, everybody knows how to kasher the stove, how to kasher the oven, how to kasher the dishwasher, what matzah to buy, how many cups of wine to drink, the shiurim of the maror, of the kazaitot, of the haggadah, of the 4 questions, the leaning, the seva, the maror, the haroset. Everybody knows this. So somebody may say, why should I come to that class if I know exactly what the rabbi is going to say? You know what's the benefit of coming to the rabbi's class? This is a good sales speech. And I'm not selling anything. I'm selling you Yom Kippur. And not Ne'ilah or Kal Nidre. It says the following. Shebesha'a she'achacham doresh. The moment that the rabbi gives the class, especially Shabbat and holidays, HaKadosh Baruch Hu mohel avonotehem shel HaKahal. Hashem erases the sins of those sitting in the class. So can you imagine, I'm talking, or any rabbi is talking, and it's your better than Yom Kippur. In Kippur, you have to do teshuvah. In Kippur, you have to fast. You have to spend most of the day in the knees. Now you come to the rabbi's class, God says, oh, you were willing to sacrifice your nap time in order to come to learn Torah? I'm going to erase your averot. It's not me saying this. It's the Kaf HaHaim. Better than FDIC insured. Or like somebody asked me the other day before Pesach, why we need to review the halachot? We know this. The halachot doesn't really change from one year to the other. I said it is true. But guess what? Every time we review a halakha, the zechut of reviewing that halacha creates an angel, creates a malach, and this malach watches over the person, that a person should fulfill the mitzvah in a proper way. Can you imagine? So you got extra protection to do the mitzvah properly, and you're sitting down, and Hashem is wiping out your averot. My averot. Everybody's averot. For this alone, even I speak in Chinese, you should come and sit down. That's it. Okay, you know mugu gaipan, okay, sushi and all this lishonot. All right? Yes, Professor. Shalom.
Shalom.
Baruch haba.
That sachar you learn by yourself?
It's not the same. Sure, the Mishnah in Pirkei Avot says, "Bechol makom asher askid et shemi, avo elecha uberachticha." The Mishnah in Pirkei Avot says, if a person is learning by themselves, also they get the sechar. Not a doubt, but to say that you get the benefit of coming to learn with the kahal like we learn by yourself, I'm not sure. It's also berov amadrat melech. Maybe you get the extra malach to protect the person of fulfilling the halacha properly when you learn the halacha by yourself. But the language is שבשעה שהחכם דורש, הקדוש ברוך הוא מוחל אמונותיהם של הקהל. That the moment that the hacham is giving the derasha, you know, sometimes sometimes I'm a comedian, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes in Yom Tov we have a break between Mincha and Arvit, because you gotta wait till Shabbat finishes, so to speak, to welcome the holiday. You can't do early Arvit on Shabbat afternoon for the holiday. So you have sometimes 20 minutes break, because you cannot do Sa'udah Shilishit late neither. You gotta do Sa'udah Shilishit earlier than usual. So we have sometimes 40 minutes. And as much as people say, Rabbi, can you give us a discount? I can't give you a discount before Shabbat finishes. We all know that. So somebody asked me, what are you going to do? I'm going to speak. You have what to say? I say, I always have what to say.
Always.
Thank God. Thank God. God bless me with the resources to, Baruch Hashem, have
Ready.
some things. But suddenly, what happens? A funny thing that happened. Suddenly you have Kiryat Yam Suf. I'm about to start to speak, and suddenly you see everybody needs to run to the bathroom. I said, Mr. President, I think we need to build a couple of more bathrooms. Everybody seems to have the same need. Baruch Hashem, to the credit of the Sibur, as the years go by, many people have a need to go to the bathroom when the shiur starts. You know, more people stay. And that's how I start the dirasha, when I know that the clientele is saying, Rabbi, they're looking at me, they're looking at the clock, and they know that there is nothing that we can do. We just need to wait off the minutes and just wait till the earliest time for Arvit arrives, and then you talk. And this is, I usually start the derasha. And I say, this is the bonus for those who stay in the class. And I usually begin this, I look at the crowd first, obviously, right? And I say this usual kafa haim. So when I'm about to finish, somebody said, Rabbi, keep talking. You know, if this is the benefit, I said, true, it is the benefit, but hacham einav berosho. A person must have the eyes on their head. What does it mean? I can keep talking. Baruch Hashem, thank God. But then it's going to delay the prayer. And then it's going to delay the time that you come home. And then you're going to start the Seder or the Yom Tov meal later than expected. Who are you going to blame?
The rabbi.
Hazaku Baruch. The rabbi spoke too much. The rabbi forgot to look at the clock. The rabbi thought that it was Ne'ilah, Shabbat Agadol, Shabbat Shuva. So that's why Hacham Einav Berosho. A rabbi cannot be only a Hacham. A rabbi needs to be also understanding who the Kahal is in front and the needs of the Kahal accordingly. But Baruch Hashem, for the credit of the Kahal, Baruch Hashem, the Kahal overall is very kind and very respectful, and I hope that every one of my colleagues has the same feelings towards the Kahal. So I wish everybody to have a Shavua Tov Mevorach. Have a beautiful day. We see each other a bit later. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen be'amen. Rabbi Hananiah ben Akashia Omer. רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכות את ישראל לפיכך. הרבה להם תורה מצוות שנאמר, אדוני חפש למען צדקו, יגדיל תורה וידיר. קדיש.